You've seen our gaming test of the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold7 and now it is time for the Z Flip7. I have it right here. It's in black color, a bit not my first choice of color, but well, it's still the Z Flip7 anyway. So I'm very excited to finally get to test this phone because if we head into HW info, you can see this phone is using the Exynos 2500, the first one to be using this brand new chipset. So if you don't already know what is gate all around, it's basically 360 degrees wrapped around the gate. So that means you shouldn't have that much of a current leak. So with that in mind, you can see that this chip is made out of 10 cores. So you have 4 clusters. One of it is the prime core Cortex X925, and then 2 of them are Cortex A725 at 2.275 GHz, 5 cores, Cortex A725 again, but at a much lower core clock speed of 2.36 GHz, and then you have small cores, which is the Cortex A520, 2 of them at 1.8 GHz. And for the GPU, they can't really read the GPU info here much, I think. So what we have is the Samsung Eclipse 950. That's it. If you want to know what's the Vulkan driver, then there you go. And for the screen, the resolution is at 2520 by 1080 pixels, so that's okay. Memory, 12 gigs of them in LPDDR5X, which is, I think, an upgrade. Previously it was only 8 gigs, right? Can't really remember. Cameras, not gonna talk about it here. Battery, we have an upgraded battery compared to last time, so we have 4300 mAh. Now I also want to show you one more thing here. So if we head into the gaming hub, we can enable game booster, and then game optimization, we can set it to performance mode so we get the best performance possible. Of course, the pause USB PD charging when gaming, this feature here is practically battery bypass. So if you're using a compatible charger or power bank with USB PD PPS support, a proper one of course, like this Ugreen power bank, then you can enable this option. So let me just show you. I will connect a cable, and then we can see that option lights up, and we can immediately just hit this button and get bypass charging when gaming. Do keep note that this feature only works when you are playing games. So with that out of the way, let's hop into a game. Now before we begin, I just want to preface this whole test by telling you one thing. The gaming test of the Z Flip7 is quite unfair because number one, the Z Flip7 is only having half of the real estate to work with, and number two, the cooling system will not work properly even if there is a proper cooling system, because this area is filled with components on both sides. As you can see, screens on either ends of the screen, and if we even have a cooling system, it wouldn't work properly. So the only reason I'm doing this video is because I want to know how well Samsung tuned the Exynos 2500 to function in such a situation. Because for the Z Fold7 though, the Snapdragon 8 Elite here is tuned very well to work with this kind of situation. Very thin screens on one end, the other end is still the typical glass back and whatnot, but the way the Snapdragon 8 Elite for Galaxy on this phone works is superb. So with that in mind, do keep in mind that this kind of test is not representative of how the Exynos 2500 is going to perform. We also have a lot of all these features like the turn off auto brightness and whatnot. If you want to use them, you can. I'm not going to touch any of them. So let's go on and check the graphical settings here, because for Genshin Impact we are playing it at the I have already set it to the highest 60 FPS. Yes, here are all of the settings that we are using. For this boss, I have this emotional support Ayaka in the team. So one thing I realized is that this chipset will do some sort of shader caching as well. So The first time we are doing this kind of actions, it might stutter or lag a bit, but after that it will be a lot better. Why do you have to jump when I'm trying to use the skill to get the balls and whatnot? I'm flying! God damn! Oh my god. I don't really know what the heck I'm doing, honestly. Yeah, first time casting the skill, it's gonna have some stutter because shader caching. Oh my god, don't kill my Ayaka. Don't remember this boss being so aggressive. Why am I stuck? Where? I think a lot of you will cringe looking at how I fight this boss, right? But honestly, I'm not playing Genshin Impact that much these days, so yeah, because I've been playing Wuthering Waves. This game actively designed to go against the player, so no thank you. So with that done, let's go for the Natlan weekly boss. I know I also hate this boss and it will be quite difficult to watch, so please don't cringe. Oh, the render resolution is quite high, 1920 by 823. Stop. Shader caching. See, after we done the thing for the first time, then it's gonna be smooth. Shader caching only happens once per device. If you don't factory reset, then it shouldn't be an issue. Or reinstall the game. Oh my god. Oh my god, no energy. I hate this boss. Stop. Oh my god.
Do not fear, my child. This is the only way.
I framed the thing. This boss is full of BS, by the way. I hate it so much. Oh my god. I do wish I have a ranged character to fight this boss. That way I don't have to, you know, not hit this boss while I'm doing this. Yeah, it's because of this boss that I hate this game so much. I realized, and I woke up, that this game is actively designed to go against the player. Maybe a skill issue, but nah, I've been playing Genshin for way too long to realize that's not a skill issue. When it comes to shader caching, a lot of people will equate it to be stuttery, laggy, but that's not really the case because shader caching happens on a lot of modern games nowadays. So you have to do the thing for once and then the shader is cached, and then when you do the same thing the second time, then it will be a lot smoother. It won't have any stuttering. The weird thing is that for an open world game like this, there are a lot of shaders to cache. So you will feel that it is kind of like this, not really stable, kind of stuttery, but in fact it's actually fine, not a problem at all. It's just that first time is gonna stutter. Since we're here, let's go explore the other area as well, which is the mountain. Okay, since we are here, I will start the recording. Again, shader caching is gonna happen. We are currently, actually power consumption is real low, 3 point something watts. It's less than 4 watts, but the temperature is again quite high at 45.6 degrees Celsius. Why? Because you only have half of the phone to dissipate heat, and also there's a screen at the back side and the front side. So the only real logical way for heat to escape is through the frame, which means your surface area is also quite small in comparison.
So shiny. Gotta steer clear of other people. Gotta steer clear of other people.
Ha, explosion. Dear lord, this team is so much better.
Hopefully the excitement of opening a treasure chest has at least made it a worthwhile experience.
Natlan characters are such a scam though. You have to pull for them to get some special ability for traversal, which in itself I don't already like, because Wuthering Waves, they just give you the wings to fly everywhere that you wanna go. Oh my god, what kind of camera angle is this?
Into the wind. All right.
Bow your head.
I do suspect that it is the more throttling right now, because it's like 45-ish degrees for the longest time. Okay. At least they increased the thermal headroom a bit for the for the flip. So this is, I would say, well, to be expected. Because even the previous generations with the Snapdragon flips, yeah, they're really not for gaming.
Let the world collide. The wind knows me. Fallen leaves. Adorn my... Let the mountains face boil.
Silence. Let the mighty be humble.
Where?
Bow your head.
Bring it.
This is definitely thermal throttling. So I've been actually in the game for half an hour already, and I just wanna tell you that the gaming experience, while it is definitely smoother than what we had earlier, well, at least it doesn't stutter to cache the shaders. We are hovering at around 20-ish FPS to about 30, depending on the temperature, of course. Currently it's drawing only like 2.5 watts. That is because it is thermal throttled, and you can see the thermal throttling temperature is around 45.3 or 45.5, somewhere around there. So you can see now the power draw is at 3 watts. The temperature rises once more to 45.4, yeah, and it will eventually thermal throttle itself, and then the frame rate will dip to about 20 something once more. So I would say before thermal throttling, it should be around like 30-ish FPS, like what we are having now. Then when it thermal throttles, we're getting like 22, somewhere around there. So yeah, that is the result that we're getting. Also, do keep note that the shader caching is only done, I would consider it to be quote-unquote done for this region only. So if you travel to some other regions around Netland or something like that, then they will have to do shader caching for that region as well. So I would say if you want to play Genshin Impact on this phone, you definitely can. Just lower the settings. Don't play it at the highest graphical settings, because number one, The Flip isn't meant for gaming anyway, and the amount of space available for heat dissipation is also very limited. So what I will do is to stop somewhere so that I can take the temperature as well. So as you can see, the temperature read from the V-Tool scene is 45.4 or 45.5, somewhere around there. That's the thermal limit, and it hovers around there for most of the time. So I will just show you pictures of the thermal image that I'm capturing using the thermal camera here. So as you can see, the heat is split into two parts, and the divider is where the phone folds or flips for this matter. So I just want to show you that the hotspot is located around the camera bump. For the inner display part, the hottest area is around 45.3 degrees Celsius, 45.4, which is surprising because it's like 1-to-1 to the internal temperature as well. And in that case, I would say the heat dissipation actually works very well here, because it means the thermal conduction from the interior to exterior is actually working fine. It's just that the lack of a proper way to dissipate heat into the environment that's causing thermal throttling. And that is where active cooling comes into play. As for the cover display area, we can see the hottest temperature is around 42 something degrees Celsius. Not the hottest, but definitely warm. And with that info in mind, that means the chipset is closer to the inner display around this area here. So that's it. That's it for Genshin Impact. We'll jump on to the next game, which is obviously going to be much more demanding. So for Zenless Zone Zero, this game is prone to have those kind of shader caching issues as well. So I'll just show you the graphical settings that we are using. So basically everything at the absolute highest, as you can see here. So what I'm gonna do is just jump into the flower boss. Yeah, shader caching. So once the shader has cached, there's really not an issue here. It's surprisingly smooth though, running in this area here. Usually for every other phone, the frame rate will drop like hell. And we are still in version 2.0, by the way. This is tail end of version 2.0. As you can see here, the banners are all gone, which is practically a day before version 2.1 drops. So as you can see, running around here, once the shader has cached properly, we are getting very nice frame rates, and at such a high render resolution of 1890 by 810. Strange number, but still high nonetheless. This is actually surprising. Same team, and before I begin, I will just tell you this. Shader caching. It will stutter the first time I'm doing anything in the game, but if I'm doing the same thing the second time, then it will be a lot smoother. That is shader caching. Okay, let's do that. I have already played the game for a little while for the shaders to cache a bit, so hopefully this will be smooth. Because shader caching, you have to do the same thing the second time before it becomes smooth. Oh my god, don't go. Oh, it's my first time doing evasion. Oh no, don't run. Ah, wasted. Go away. By the way, since Miyabi is rerunning, whoever is considering getting Miyabi, just go get her. She's like one of the best characters you can get. Yeah, it's my first time using her ulti, so definitely need to cache the shader as well. Same goes to Lucy. And same goes for Miyabi as well, shader caching, let's go. Oh, it's the enemy's first time using the attack. And now they're using the bullshit move. Ah, wrong button. See, doing the second ulti is a lot smoother because shader has been cached. You need to understand what's going on before we can say anything about it, right? So yeah, I do know that shader caching, that's why I'm always informing people when shader caching is happening. Ayo, wasted. It's consuming quite a lot of power for this particular fight. I'm seeing like 5 watts, 6 watts sometimes. Thermal throttle 45.6, and we're still getting like 20 something FPS. Actually quite good. Because some other phones, when it thermal throttles, we only get like a slideshow. Shouldn't have used that, but okay. So this is thermal throttling. One thing I'm quite curious though, why the shader caching is so severe. I'm not even sure if that's the correct word, severe on this device. I do know that some other devices do shader caching as well, but it's not this severe, as in it doesn't stutter as much. Probably it's because, you know, AMD GPU, not that many games actually support it, quote-unquote support, so maybe that's the reason why. I'm not sure.
We should act now.
Oh, time's up. Okay, end recording. What's the damage? 88. Oh no, not 88. 100 million damage. Hey, that's actually much higher than the average 80 something million. So okay, that's actually good. But yeah, Zenless Zone 0, shader caching once more. Kind of similar situation with Genshin Impact, but once the shader has been cached, it's actually quite an okay experience, all things considered. Again, you can lower the graphical settings if you want to. Now, for COD Mobile, I'm sure a lot of people will ask me to try Battle Royale mode and whatnot, but first I have to show you what kind of graphical settings that we have. So, what we have is only max frame rate. Not sure why the game doesn't allow us to use anything higher, but okay, this is what we have, we'll work with that. And here are all of the other graphical settings that I'm using. One notable highlight is that variable rate shading is turned off. Super resolution is very important, we turn it on, and that's why the render resolution is at 2520 by 1080, which is the native resolution of the screen. If we turn it off, then you can see it straight away drop back down to 720p. So, turn on your super resolution if you want the game to look good. Oh, I need to start recording. So apparently max frame rate, if I'm not wrong, is 60 FPS. So okay, we'll work with that. It's very usual for game developers to not enable these kind of graphical settings for a new chipset, for in this case the Exynos 3500. So we just work with what we have. I'm quite surprised. I'm using a Nintendo Switch controller with ABXY, and COD Mobile is giving me the circle, X, triangle, square, as in the PS controller. But either way, I'm fine with all controller layouts. It's just that the joystick needs to be following the Xbox controller's layout. I don't like PlayStation's symmetrical layout. Gun. Okay, nice gun. Oh, is that button to change the gun? Okay. Now I can't really see the mini map because the frame rate thing is there. Okay. Where the heck are you guys shooting from? So like what we mentioned in all other gaming tests, PUBG Mobile and in extension COD Mobile is also not that demanding, even with whatever graphical settings we are using with an unoptimized chipset for the game. Actually more like the game is not optimized for the chipset. Still runs really fine, no problems here. And the device is actually cooling down. We started the game for like 45 degrees and now it's dropped to 42.9. Yeah.
Airdrop has been delivered.
There's someone here. The stereo speakers on this Z Flip7 is actually quite good. I can hear the footsteps moving from left to right. Great clarity. Surprisingly. So I can probably look at a guy from here. The heck is that?
Tank has been delivered.
Oh my god, this gun recoil.
Airdrop has been delivered.
I'm kinda happy that COD Warzone is no longer available. That game was horrible.
Voidwalker activated.
That was hectic.
Collapsing. Airdrop incoming.
There's more people.
The last 5 teams. Airdrop incoming.
Shouldn't have sprayed.
Buy station currently unavailable. Airdrop.
Definitely need a sniper rifle or something like that.
Only 2 teams left.
Dumb.
Getting close to victory.
I need more bullets though. What happened? I won by doing nothing. Nice. So the overall experience, well, it was nice. So yeah, COD Mobile is not demanding at all. Alright, so Wuthering Waves. I'm gonna change it to controller mode. And I'm just gonna go into the settings menu, show you that we are playing it at actually the highest graphical settings. So yeah, auto FPS turned off. If not, they will change the resolution to ensure you're getting the frame rate that you want. Again, this game seems like shader caching is something that have to be done as well. So give me a few minutes. So what I'm gonna do is to farm for the weapon material. I've already done some of the attacks and whatnot, so most of the basic shaders has been cached, at least the attack ones. So at least for these 3 characters, I mean. So of course, when we are in this kind of arena, you have the enemies as well. Their attack movements have to get shader cache. So it's a whole story.
The fruit of evolution. Take a breath. My compliments. Surrender. Take this. The stage is set.
So first time is complete. I suppose the shader has been cached, so let's do it the second time, and now it will be a lot smoother. So let's just do it. Second time done. Of course, I didn't use all of the skills, so now it's the third time. I just want to know why shader caching is so aggressive on this device.
Leave it to me. Listen up, forever. My compliments. Running won't save me.
Now we're done with that. I wanna go fight a weekly boss. How about that? So one thing I need to tell you is that this game, when you fight a weekly boss, you'll be teleported into a closed off arena, and it will just load everything within the arena. So same problem as Zenless Zone 0 will happen here as well. Because I tried this particular boss fight on other devices, it was super laggy. So I'm not sure how things gonna be for this phone. Of course, the boss needs to do all of their fancy moves, so shader caching for the boss.
You will yield. Take this. Take a breath.
Oh no.
I need some fertilizer. Burn it up. Running won't save you. Victory fades.
My first time using her ulti using this phone.
Is that it? I'm still standing.
I have no idea how to parry in this game. Doesn't seem to be hitting the enemy when the ring lights up. So I'm not sure. Ouch. That wasn't too bad given that we are doing the boss fight for the first time on this device. So,
The power to split and merge matter.
even this menu has shader caching. So for example, if I go to the MC, yeah, loading the MC for the first time, you need to cache the shader as well.
Shared future, leaving the past behind.
But after that, it's smooth. Let's go! Again, shader caching.
Divine grace. You will yield.
after the shader has been cached, it's a lot smoother now. So we're fighting the same boss the second time. It will be a lot smoother. So let's do that. Oh my god. Aya, no critical ah. Jellyfish woman, deal with her. Wow, jellyfish woman came through. Another HP sword, okay. Could the shader caching be a game engine issue, now that I think about it? Because this game, if I'm not wrong, it's made with Unreal Engine, whereby all your games are made with Unity. So could that be the issue? These two engines are just not playing well. Could be. This thing is a scam, by the way. Let's do it, I guess. Oh, more dragons here. Oh, I didn't know she's dying. Oh yo. What the heck is this auto aim? I can't see anything. Yeah, I think that's enough. So for Wuthering Waves, yeah, another game with shader caching things that you need to keep note of. What the heck happened with that? Fade to black. Oh, I forgot to record the frame rate, right? I should do that. and play a bit more since we're here. So shader caching is the thing. Since we are gonna stay in this game for a bit longer, might as well explain what shader caching does, right? So if you are into, let's just say, console emulation, when you load a game, you will see something called loading shaders. That's the same shader as what's happening here. So the more shaders you have means that, the more shaders that you've cached, more means that when you play the game, it's gonna be a lot smoother and also not as demanding for the, well, not to say demanding, more like if you emulate something, if you cannot render it in real time, so what you do, you cache the shader. It's like making a template, sort of. I don't really know how to explain it, but shader caching is a very common thing. It's just that for whatever reason, this phone is very aggressive when it comes to shader caching, and that is why you keep seeing stutters. For a how do you say this, simpler game, not this kind of dynamic action 3D open world games, then shader caching wouldn't be so aggressive. But it's just that if you're playing this kind of open world 3D action games, then the amount of shaders you need to cache is exponentially higher, because there are a lot of different ways the same thing can happen. So for example, just now it started because the enemy was doing some BS attack, and this woman was also in jellyfish form, jellyfish form. So they have to cache the stages for that. Every character that pulls out the glider, they have to cache the shader for that as well. Oh, for example, like this character here, she has not pulled out her glider yet, so if I do it right now, it will cache the shader. There we go. Shader caching happens to all devices, it's just that for this one in particular, it's aggressive. So you could say that shader caching is like the more you play, the smoother it gets. But for some games like this, it's impossible to cache all the shaders. If you're into the emulation scene and if you've emulated some games before, you might have come across an option to cache all shaders or something like that. If you do that for a game like this, then it will take ages, years to cache all of the shaders. I'm a what? Yeah. I think I've been in the game long enough. Overall frame rates will be around 30 FPS-ish. Shader caching will make the frame rate dip, so that is a concern. And I just think that this phone is a bit too aggressive when it comes to shader caching. Overall temperature 45.5, as what we mentioned, that is the thermal limit. We'll move on to the next game. And now it is time for PUBG Mobile. So the settings that we have here is Smooth Extreme Plus, and these are all of the settings that we're using. Again, PUBG Mobile not gonna be an issue at all for any modern phones. So as you can see here, 720p game. Yeah. So let's just jump into the new whatever transformer game mode. Is that the transformer thing? I have no idea. Hello, are you Cybertron? Is that what they call it? I don't know, I'm not a fan of Transformers. Playing sneak peeks, literally. Nice ass. Oh no, I'm dead. Yeah, PUBG Mobile not gonna be an issue for this phone at all, so I'm just gonna give up. Okay, so for War Thunder Mobile, I had to leave it around to download some stuff. So here are all of the settings that we're using. And it's ready at 45.5 degrees Celsius. Okay, that is to be expected because a flip phone, you only have like this whole area here to deal with the heat. So there's really not much room to play with. I can't even see the mini map. Oh my god. Oh my god, there's way too many tanks here. Ouch. One shot, I'm dead. What? Don't think I can win, but we are getting like 60 FPS quite consistently, I think. So overall, this game surprisingly runs well on the Exynos. So I think the previous games where it stutters a lot had to do with the game engine probably. Oi! Yeah, I'm done. So frame rate surprisingly steady for this game. So no problems here. Okay, so for Fortnite Mobile, I'm just gonna show you the graphical settings here. Unfortunately, there's no 90 FPS option. Okay, whatever. So we're just gonna use all of these settings. So let's hop into a game. And I also need to highlight that this game is only running at this render resolution, 1578 by 672, really low. So yeah, let's just hop into a classic game of Battle Royale and see how things go. Yeah, preparing shaders. It happens to all games. Every game has shaders. It would be wild not to say that Fortnite is made using Unreal Engine, right? Because you know Epic Games own Fortnite and also Unreal Engine, so it's just natural to think that this game is made using Unreal Engine, and I think it will also have shader caching like Wuthering Waves, Genshin Impact, all of those stuff. Oh, by the way, ignore the 0 because I had to disable developer option because Fortnite doesn't allow you to enable developer option. but we still have GPU watch, so that's good. Bruh, so many people. Just want to land somewhere. Oh, what the heck is this? Seems like a game engine issue because it's only Unity and Unreal Engine games having this kind of shader caching lags, lag spikes more like. Oh, okay, I died. That was fast. Okay, enough of Fortnite. If the shader is cached, then yes, 60 FPS. If not, then yeah, you will have some lag spikes. Now let's talk about the analysis part. We'll start off with Genshin Impact, and as you can see here, the power consumption, whatever reason, it's real low, 3.46 average, okay. The render resolution 1920 by 823, not the highest, but it is relatively high. So we can see that the power consumption is around 4-ish watts most of the time. No idea what this means, but okay. The spike is, I think, when I was launching Zenless 0. I forgot to end the recording. Anyway, yeah, the average is around like 4-ish watts. It's really low. And then we can see the frame rate is it does drop and rise a bit, and then you can see there's a little kink on this graph line here, and that is because the thermal limit is 45.5 degrees Celsius. Once it hits that temperature, it will thermal throttle, and that's why you can see the frame rates kind of go up and down, and this temperature graph corresponds to that. Once it reaches 45.5, the frame rate immediately drops, and then we can see the temperature goes down a little bit, then it rises again, and then you can see when the temperature rises, the frame rate also rises, and then eventually temperature hits 45.5 degrees Celsius again, and then the frame rate drops again. Okay, nothing too surprising there. The frame time is a bit all over the place because, again, shader caching. I have no idea why this phone is so aggressive for Unity engine. Yeah, Genshin Impact is made using Unity engine, by the way. So Zenless 0, I do expect it to be the same story as well. So shader caching, Unity engine, blah blah blah, you get the idea. So what you can see here is that the render resolution is at 1890 by 810 pixels. Average power consumption higher than Zenless 0, so it is quite high. 4 point something watts, nearly 5 watts average, I could say, but it just says 4.4 watts here. Throughout the entire 6-ish minutes fight, it reached thermal throttling somewhere near here, and then you can see the frame rate drop. Yeah, thermal limit was hit here and here, so you can see the frame rate drop, and then here's another frame rate drop. Let's go ahead and talk about Wuthering Waves first. So the render resolution for this game is 2520 by 1080, if I'm not wrong. Native resolution of the screen. No idea why it didn't capture here, but then we used GPU watch to look at the render resolution earlier. So when we look at all of these things here, we can see power consumption surprisingly low, I would say. It's actually quite low. It doesn't even surpass 6 watts or even 5 watts for that matter. Shader caching as well, all over the place. and since we only recorded it for a short amount of time, but then you can see throughout the entire gameplay, shader caching was also happening, and I also explained what is shader caching in that gaming test as well. I mean that portion of the gaming test. So as far as I know, Wuthering Waves is made using Unreal Engine, if I'm not wrong. So Unreal and Unity, both of them are like, how do you say this? Jack of all trades, but master of none type of game engine. So maybe it's not optimized for this chipset yet, or this chipset is not optimized for that game engine. Anyway, this is what we have right now. I do expect it to get better over time when more updates come to this phone, but this phone is not mine. I have to return this, so I'm not sure if I can do a follow-up test. Then let's talk about COD Mobile. Again, 2580 by 1080 pixels in render resolution. The V2 scene did not capture that, but that's okay. We can see that the temperature nowhere near thermal throttling, and then the frame rate jumps a little bit, but overall still very smooth gaming experience, and we did win. And you can see the CPU spikes. Not sure why that is the case, but okay. And here is all of the data. PUBG Mobile is another very easy game to run, so 720p game. Average power consumption real low. The temperature is stabilized as well, so no problems there. Average is at 91 FPS, so yeah, the settings that we have can only go up to 90 FPS as of now, so we are using all of that. So yeah, nothing much to see here. For War Thunder Mobile, as we can see here, the temperature is actually dropping. That is actually surprising, and then the power consumption is also quite low, and we turn up all of the graphical settings as well. The render resolution is also at 2580 by 1080 pixels. So yeah, this game ran way better than many of the phones that we've tried so far, especially the Snapdragon 8 Elite phones. So the last game that we also tried was Fortnite, and that is what you have saw earlier. Okay, so that's the gaming test of the new Samsung Galaxy Z Flip7. What do I think of it? Well, the Exynos 2500 is really unfair if I want to compare the performance coming out of a flip phone with something like, let's just say S25 Ultra, for example, because these kind of phones have proper cooling system, and you can utilize the whole phone to, you know, essentially cool the chip down. But a flip phone like this, what you have to do, like what we showed in the thermal camera image, you only have half of the phone, this half, to cool the chipset, and the chipset has to share its space with one display here, one display here, and also the battery. So, oh, and also the cameras. Yeah, it's unfair to judge the Exynos 2500 by the flip alone, but so far I can tell you that the stuttering issue is caused by shader caching, and it seems to be a game engine problem. So let me just quickly recap, okay? The games that we've tried, all of these, Genshin Impact, Zenless Zone Zero, Wuthering Waves, and Fortnite, they all have shader caching problem. And all of these games are either made using Unity Engine or Unreal Engine. These two game engines either need to optimize for this chipset, or the chipset needs to optimize for those game engines. Either way, this is what we have right now. Shader caching is happening for all devices and all chipsets and all games nowadays, actually. These two in particular is very difficult to cache all of its shaders. So if you want to play these two games using this phone, I highly recommend you to lower the graphical settings. Yeah, for Zenless Zone Zero, it's a bit easier to cache the shaders because you only do a certain amount of actions, and the amount of enemies available in this game is also not as much as Genshin Impact and Wuthering Waves. So yeah, shader caching is a real big issue for this phone in particular, at least for this time. What's the time now again? Oh, it's already past midnight. Yeah, As of 16 July, we still have no updates, as in official software update for the Z Flip7 and the Z Fold7 for that matter as of now. So this is what we're working with, and yeah, it's just really unfair to test this chip on the Fold to judge how it actually performs. Yeah, maybe we'll have an update, maybe not. Again, this phone is not mine. I need to return this to its owner. Yeah, if you have any other questions regarding this phone, then do let me know down in the comment section below. A full review for this phone will also come soon, I hope, and we will talk about the efficiency, all of those stuff, so blah blah blah. Do check all of those out down in the description below when it is published. I'll leave all the links there, and do remember to like and subscribe as well. So yeah, we see you guys in the next video. Yeah. By the way, flip phones are not meant for gaming.